Nancey, the common feeling is that we all know what we are. We have this sense of a unified self. But from a Christian theist point of view, what gives us personal identity?
Most Christians would say that our personal identity is based on an immortal soul that we have either from conception or from sometime in the womb on up to death and beyond death. But some others of us think that there is no such thing, and consequently we're stuck with a bit of a philosophical problem in answering that. But I take great comfort from the fact that secular philosophers haven't got any good answer to the question of what makes the baby Robert the same person as the adult Robert anyway. And in fact, philosophers don't even have very good answers to the question of what makes my car the same car that it was before the accident as it is after the accident.
Well, in ourselves especially, because every molecule is being replaced, our neurons are being changed, and so what is the I that continues?
Exactly. And I actually think that sometimes philosophers make bigger problems out of problems than they need to be, simply because they're fun to think about. But if you ask any person on the street what makes the person the same person from year to year, nobody really has a problem with that. And I don't think philosophers themselves need to have any more problem with that than the person on the street does.
Now, I would think as a theist, you have some sense of a continuation of some kind after our physical bodies die.
Absolutely. I believe very strongly in resurrection of the body, and better said would be resurrection of the whole person. But that entails a radical transformation, because we certainly are not going to be made out of this same physical stuff that we're made out of now, because this is what's subject to decay. And we're promised that in the next life, we will not be subject to decay. So the next world, what little we can know of it, has to be radically different. Our embodiment will have to be radically different. And yet it will have to be embodiment, because embodiment is what allows us to be social.
But how do we maintain the personal identity?
Well, I was reflecting on this problem and also reflecting on the character of my husband at one point at the same time. And I thought, my goodness, you could put Jim's characteristics into or on the body of a middle-aged woman, and within 30 seconds I would know it was him. We have temperament, we have our character, and we are just so recognizably ourselves by the time we're adults, and so frustratingly, unchangeably ourselves by the time we're adults. And so there just is that personal identity that each of us has that carries over from year to year to year.
Yeah, but I would argue that those are things that are the result of hundreds of billions of connections and molecules between synapses and neurons, and that once that is destroyed through death, it disappears.
True. It's realized by or made possible by the physical embodiment that we have now. But if we believe in resurrection, and if we trust that God resurrects me, not some other person, then we have to believe also that the instantiation of the body, the instantiation of me, no matter how differently...
Define instantiation.
What's that?
Define instantiation.
The being the next instance of, how's that? The next installment of me, how's that? Good for television.
I like this installment.
Television talk. Well, the next installment was supposed to be when we're at age 30, and I wouldn't mind going back. Augustine said that we are at our peak of development then, and we haven't started going downhill yet. So I won't mind being reinstantiated at age 30. But anyway, we will have our characters, and our characters are us. And I believe what is especially important for the next life is the re-embodiment of our moral character, because the purpose of the Christian life is to develop the moral character of Jesus in order to participate in a community of Jesus-like people. So that is primarily what must continue from this life to the next. But then also, Americans are so individualistic, we tend to think that I am who I am no matter where I am, what I'm doing, etc. We don't realize the extent to which our own identity is created by our relationships. And so the image of the next life, where we're back together with our church members and back together with our family, is a very important aspect of the next life. But also, of course, being related to by God. My relationship to God is what is a very important part of what makes me essentially who I am. And that is what especially we're promised we'll have in the next life, is a continuation of that exact relationship with God, although much more explicit and much more direct.
I'm interested, though, in the mechanism. We don't have an immortal soul in your philosophical explanation. We certainly don't have a physical brain anymore. And so what is the transmission vehicle, the mechanism, to create the personal identity similarity or identity?
That's one of the questions that we simply can't answer. And most of the questions that talk about the end of times, we call those eschatological questions in theology. Most of those we can't answer in the kind of how does it happen, what is it going to be like sort of ways. The kinds of answers that we've got have to do primarily with moral issues. What do we know about the kingdom of God? We know that it's going to be table fellowship with people that we otherwise would not like to sit down with. We know that it's going to be social. Those are the sorts of things we know. So we have to be embodied to sit at table, but we don't have to get into the details of, do we digest the food? Where does it go? That sort of thing.